In this episode, we're saying happy 6th year anniversary to Splinterlands. I'm going to take a look back and discuss what got me into the game, what I enjoy about the game, what I've done in the game since then, why I'm still here, and what I see for the future for myself. If this sounds interesting to you, please stand by. Hey all you Splinterheads, welcome back. Bronze Dragon here saying thanks for dropping by. I appreciate your time. Well, happy 6th anniversary Splinterlands. I know a lot's been going on, but I wanted to take a minute and step back and kind of celebrate a little bit the accomplishment for the team. I know in the past I've been accused of being a little bit salty at times, but at the outset I want to say that the reason why I'm still here and still chugging along and still interested in Splinterlands is that I really believe in the game. So let's talk about that. But first of all, let's jump into the Wayback Machine.
What is it?
Well, actually, it's a time machine. I call it a Wayback. We just set it, turn it on, open the door, and there we are.
This is actually the anniversary of the month that I first started. Way back in May 2021, 3 years ago this month. Just to give you a little bit of backstory, prior to that, I've been in IT for quite a long time, and I really enjoy fixing and piecing together and building computers. So up to that point, I was really heavily into building graphics card mining setups. So not on a huge scale, but I had a few rigs going in my basement, and I was really into it. I enjoyed the building and fixing process probably more than I enjoyed the crypto part of it. The crypto part was nice, and I was really enjoying, getting into that. But the math side of my brain is not as much as getting into and fixing the equipment, giving myself a reason to build computers, etc. Okay, so as we got into that time period, we started hearing about Ethereum getting ready to go proof of stake instead of proof of work. And Ethereum was what was mainly keeping a lot of us miners going. In other words, that's what made it worth it mining. Okay. Now, at that point in time, I started to hear about Web3 type games. Okay, so my first Web3 quote unquote game, I hesitate to call it that because at that point, and still a lot of games in the Web3 space are still just like come back every hour and click on something. I don't really consider that a game. But either way, it was a different blockchain, and I started getting into it, and it really interested me. And at that point in time, what I did was, obviously, what do a lot of us do? We start looking for videos on YouTube. And this is several months before this channel even originated, right? And so I usually watch videos when I'm working out in the morning, okay? Try to stay a little bit active before I go to work. And I came across Dwayne, Infidel, okay? He's an old school. He was there. I don't know how far he's been back, but he's been going for a long time. He's one of the OGs, right? So I started watching his videos, and if you've watched his videos, he's very, very pro. He's very. What do I want to say? Whereas my personality is kind of. I don't want to say negative, but I look at things glass half empty, whereas he looks at things glass half full very definitely. So we have different personalities, but I really liked watching his videos. He was talking about what was going on in Splinterlands, the value he saw in the cards, the value he saw in putting your time and effort into the game, and this captured me, okay? So I jumped into the game and I started playing. And from that time period, I was in May, and gradually during that fall period of 2021, things were on fire. So after I started watching some of Dwayne's videos, I started thinking to myself, well, I'm kind of at this wind down point as far as I'm going to have to start winding down my mining rigs, because pretty soon after Ethereum goes proof of stake instead of proof of work, it's no longer going to be worth it to run my mining rigs because of the electricity costs, right? But I started looking at Splinterlands, and I thought to myself, well, if I could start playing a game and earn a cryptocurrency through that, that is essentially like mining. Kind of a comparison in my brain, right? I'm earning crypto, but instead of using electricity and hardware, I'm using my time and investment into the infrastructure, okay, buying cards. And a second part of that, the other part of that got me interested is the fact that I'm an old school Magic the Gathering player, okay? I was on board with Magic. I almost said Gathering the Magic. Shout out. But I was playing Magic the Gathering primarily during the Revised and Ice Age era. Okay, I came in basically right after Unlimited, and I had a fairly good collection, and I did pretty decent in tournaments. I never won any huge tournaments or anything like that, but I liked to do that at that point in time. Okay, but as things came along in my life, and I got married, and I had my wife had a daughter. As we were going through our life, I decided to sell off my Magic collection, which at this point in time I wish I had. But always 2020, right? But either way, one of the hard parts of physical card games is actually selling cards, trading and selling cards. Okay. Now, back in the day, there was a large. You could go down to your local card shop in most areas, and you could trade and you could sell to the shop. Obviously, you're going to lose a lot if you try to sell to the shop, but it was always very hard to sell your physical card collection. So the other part that captured me about Splinterlands was the fact that it was very easy. Okay, I could jump in and I could buy cards on the market or on Peak Monsters or a few other websites, and just as easily I could turn around and I could throw them back on the market. We don't have to meet down at some store. We don't have to haggle over prices. Here's my price. If you want it, go ahead and buy it, etc. So that's the other part of what actually captured me into the game. The ease of buying, selling, not necessarily trading. You can trade, obviously, because they're NFTs. I did like that idea, but the ease of buying and selling just really captured me over, coming out of physical card games. Now, as I mentioned, I've been with Splinterlands for 3 years now. And the first several months, I did not have a YouTube channel. Around October of that year, of 2021, I had been playing Splinterlands since May, and I had my foot in the door, and I was doing pretty decent, and I was enjoying myself, right? So I figured, well, why not do something interesting and start up a YouTube channel like Dwayne, And I'm not saying my channel is anything like Dwayne's, but I'm saying that the subject matter is similar, although that over the years I've covered a lot differently, okay? And the reason why I keep bringing up his name is because he was the reason that I'm here, right? So time goes along, and with all the various changes in the game, I found myself getting into the game in different manners, okay? Early on, and through the lifetime of this game, we've been fighting off the massive bot farms. And early on, I thought that there shouldn't be any bots to start with, right? Okay. But they were all already in the system. At that point in time, the team didn't have a problem with it. In fact, they were pro in my mind from the various town halls and everything. So I thought I would jump in, and with the advent of a few of the bots available, Archmage, I went ahead and got into Archmage. And I got more into the side of the game that was Archmage plays my game, but I got into the collecting and building. And once land started being talked about, At the time I got in, it was just like the week after the initial sellout of land, okay, from the company. And I was still kicking myself for like, oh, why didn't I buy one? I was like, early on, it was like, well, I could buy another copy of Ulrich, or I could buy, like a level 2 Ulrich, or I could buy a plot of land. And I'm like, oh, I need more copies of Ulrich. That was the kind of mind frame I was in at that point in time. But as time progressed and they started talking about land more, I got more interested in it because I've always liked land, resource management, things like that, games, that type. So I started leaning heavier towards that way. Now, all along, I've always played my guild battles, the guild brawls and such. But I've played fewer and fewer games, just allowing Archmage to play my games as far as that goes on a daily basis, because I always had a heavy emphasis on trying to get as much as I could out of the money I've put into the game. Okay, at this point in time, I've put several thousands of dollars into the game, so I do see it as entertainment. But there are different forms of entertainment within Splinterlands right now. And right now, I'm just leaning very heavily towards the land. So on a daily basis, I spend probably, I spent at least 2 hours a day dedicated to Splinterlands, and that's mostly because of doing a YouTube channel. Okay. At this point in time, if I didn't have the YouTube channel, I would probably just spend maybe in the neighborhood of about maybe 20 to 30 minutes as far as claiming on my land, doing anything dedicated to land, keeping up with the prices of cards and what I'm doing there, keeping up with the SPS and the price as far as what I'm investing in, those kind of things. I think that if I played the actual game, which I'm entertaining with all the changes they're putting into place, I'm entertaining the idea of just going into and playing into Modern, because that's their goal now, to get more people into Modern, right? So I'm not against that. I see a lot of these changes they're putting in as positives lately. So I'm not saying my head's set in, my mind's set that I'm just going to stay with a bot in Wild, because that's what I have been doing since the changeover of bots from Modern to Wild. I love playing. If the game gets fun again for me, I'd be really into it. I'm always up for, as far as where I see myself going into the game, with the game as we progress along. I see myself going further into the land game, quote unquote, getting deeper into that. I know there's been a lot of talk lately, and it's been kind of backburnered a little bit. But with that said, the game's been around, the team's been around for 6 years, 6+ years, considering probably they had a lot of time before it actually came out. They were working on it, right? If they were going to rug pull, it would have been by now, right? So I don't have any idea in the back of my mind that this is a sham or anything like that. All the changes that have occurred over the last year or so, or since the management changeover, I viewed as good, mostly, So some things, nobody's perfect, right? No team is perfect, and the team is much smaller now, so they have to focus their efforts, okay, and continue down the road of where Matt wants this game to go, okay? So I see myself continuing to go along that road with the team. Am I going to like everything that they do? No. Am I going to jump on and try to trash people? No, I'm not going to. I'm just going to say what I don't agree with, and use all of the information I get out of the town halls and from various people that do YouTube channels, and people that come to my live stream on Saturday at 11:30 Eastern time through 12:30, to make the best decision I can. Okay, as far as what I put into the game and how I play the game. Over this last 3 years, my gameplay has changed radically. What I'm doing in the game, what I'm getting out of the game. So with that said, I still see myself playing the land game as time goes along, and I have great expectations for it and great hopes for it. So here's hoping that everything goes well and we see a good land game in 2.0. Now, a lot of people ask me, what do I want to tell new players coming into the game? Because obviously that's the focus of the team right now. Okay, the team is focused on making the game better, and then after that, making it more fun, making it easier to get into, less hurdles, etc., and many different talking points within that realm, right? And then they're going to work on marketing it, which I've always felt, I'm not going to get into that, but I've always felt that they could use a lot better marketing, right? But with that said, my advice for beginners, if you're coming into the game right now, Chaos Legion. Chaos Legion, Chaos Legion, okay? The cards were overprinted. They're cheap, but they're great play cards, okay? 85 to 90% of that set is priced way below what it should be priced because it was overprinted, okay? At this point in time, pick yourself up some Chaos Legion, get yourself a good play deck going, and go with that. That will let you ride for quite a while, okay? Other than that, pick and choose cards from other sets, depending upon whether you're going to play wild or modern. Pick and choose cards that you like, that you find that you play well in your play style, and buy those strategically off the market. I've always been a person that buys singles, or I find a card that I want and I buy it off the market versus buying packs. That's always been very strategic and a much better use of your buying dollar, as far as I'm concerned. Well, with that said, this has been Bronze Dragon saying happy 6th anniversary to the Splinterlands team. I still enjoy the game for different aspects. We all do. Okay, I'm looking forward to where it's going from here. And as far as I know, I'll be along for the ride. Things change. We all adapt as changes come. Some people have sold off. Some new people are coming in. So let's just hope for the best. Let's hope for another good 6 years. With that said, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. Hey, leave in the comments when you started playing the game, and if you're what you're looking forward to in the coming months. See you on the flip side.